very much. I will do a follow-up once the other panelists have spoken and inquire about how we consider to be other regional actors such as Turkey and Russia and their role in the peace process. But we'll come back to that as well. My next question is, excuse me, is for Mr. Bettel. You know, Luxembourg is a very interesting small state in that it punches above its weight. It's a small state with exceptional success in multilateralism. It has formed Benelux with Belgium and Luxembourg, and so for a state of its size, it performs exceptionally well in a supranational entity while demonstrating a great deal of capacity building and sort of success in being able to manage and engage with more powerful actors in its vicinity. What advice can Luxembourg give to Armenia and to the region on small state success? And I also would like your opinion on how Armenia can succeed as a small state in its strategic engagement with the European Union.
Thank you so much for the invitation. When you say that Armenia and Luxembourg are both small countries, you're not that small. First thing. The second thing is you don't choose your neighbors. When I looked at the past of my country, we had difficult times with nearly, except the Belgians, but with French, and we were occupied by everyone. And in the last century, I don't need to remind that the Germans thought they would know better what is good for the future of my country than ourselves. And in fact, we were able to realize that to have common projects was in fact the best peace project. We started with the Benelux, so with Belgium and the Netherlands. We even have a parliament of that, with the Benelux parliament. And I just spoke with my colleague Dalia also when we had meetings with the Baltic Assembly, also with the Nordic Assembly. So these regional parliaments where we discussed also regional topics. I had yesterday a meeting with the Speaker of the House here in Yerevan. I told him why not having an initiative to have discussions with other parliamentarians from Georgia, from Azerbaijan, and also from the region here to discuss about transborder problems, also with Turkey and with Iran. Some ideas, but just to have common goals. So this is how Luxembourg realized that you are much bigger when you do things in common. Very often we think that doing things alone is the best solution. That's wrong. Doing things together is the best way to move on. I said you don't choose your partners. You don't choose, your neighbors. Your partners you can choose. Your neighbors you cannot choose. And believe me, our history are all different. You have a different history here in Armenia than in Luxembourg. In Lithuania they have a different history and a different relation with the neighbors than we have. We had, and I take the opportunity, we have a representative from the Iranian government here at the round table. We hoped that with the last elections in Iran, we would have also a more stable partner in Iran. I don't want to ask you now, but for us now, we read in the papers that they gave 20,000 missiles to the Russians. So this is again a big question. Are we going to continue the old difficult relations with Iran, or are we going to move on a better way? To be very frank, because we have to say these things. So you can't choose your neighbors. I believe in dialogue. I love to be able to speak here at the Yerevan dialogue, because the worst in politics and in relations is a monologue. And if we have the Yerevan monologue, it doesn't bring anything. We need to have partners around the table. We need to have also neighbors around the table. And we need to be able to say the things in a way where we try to build something together. Peace is never granted. When I speak to our Ukrainian colleagues, they know what it means to have a situation nowadays where bigger countries think that the law of the strongest is what is right. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in international law, but on the other hand, when you say what is the role of our countries, the problem is that all our international fora are done for good situations. We see it with Palestine and Israel, we see it with Russia and Ukraine, we see that as an international body, we are not able to interact. When we see the Security Council working on the basis of the Second World War, there is still no African country in the Security Council. We see that if one country wants to block decisions, we are all blocked. We see in the European Union that the rules were done where we were 7 or 15, we are now 27 around the tables. We are hostages sometimes about our own rules. So I just can recommend to our Armenian colleague to stay on the right side of the history and also of the future, because we cannot change the history, but we can make the future together. And they did huge efforts. I wouldn't be here if I would sit and I wouldn't be able to speak freely. I'm able to speak in a country where in some neighboring countries I wouldn't be able to speak. Here as a liberal, as a gay man, as a politician, being able to speak freely in front of an audience without having fears to have problems afterwards when I leave the stage is important to support. So I think Armenia deserves our support, they deserve our attention, and we shouldn't ask them to choose between, but to be able to help them to stay as they are with their history, with their traditions, with their culture, with their country, and with their peace plans, because we should never forget, we take the decisions, but it's the people on the ground who suffer from our decisions. Thank you.